now we can see the heater hoses are back on. Looking real good. And all the way to the firewall. Slowly but surely, it's getting there. It is getting there. I'm starting to get excited here. Next thing I'm going to do are going to be the transmission cooler lines to be replaced. And then it'll be time to drop the radiator in. And then the shroud. And then the hub, belts, and fan, clutch, and fan. And then we can put alternator in. Alternator, and put the windshield washer bottle back in. And it's getting real close, so I'm still waiting for a good brake booster line. That hasn't come in yet. And then she'll be ready to fire up. Get the radiator hoses on. Oh, and also one more other thing. I'm remembering it. Cannot figure out whatever happened to the choke thermostat, the cover, and the rod that goes to the choke thermostat. It is not there. Judging by the amount of dirt and grease and oil on there, I have no idea how many years it wasn't there. Which is very interesting, because I think that in cooler times, in the fall or winter, you'd want to have a choke to get this thing to start. It's coming along. Mark, she's back together. Everything is hooked up. Only thing I'm missing is an air filter inside the air cleaner there, and coolant. And I'm not going to put coolant in it at first. I'm just going to put water in it and run it that way, let it warm up, and check for leaks. And then if there's no leaks, then I'll drain the water out and I'll fill it with coolant. It's going to be time to buy a battery. I've got to look one up and see what fits. But as you can see, battery tray, wiring, everything is assembled, and radiator, water pump, all new belts, all new hoses, including the heater hoses, carb rebuilt, alternator, thermostat neck, brake booster hose. I mean, I made sure new transmission cooler lines, and yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. I can't wait to start it. Yeah, it's going to be probably in a couple of weeks, though. Annie and I are leaving tomorrow to go to Texas for a week and a half to visit the kids. And then when I get back, we're going to crank it up and see how it runs. Okay, here we go. Everything's back together. Will she start? She's alive. She's running. She's idling. Alright. I've only got water in the engine and radiator right now. I have no coolant in there yet. Running the water just to make sure I don't have a leak. Dang. This is good. Mark, I was afraid of this. Sitting so long. Your heater core is leaking. No good. No good. I mean, I've got no leaks under hood, but your heater core is definitely leaking. And man, you can see it. Caprice is running. Warming up. Hoses are all hooked up. Starts when you first turn the key. Alternator's charging. Still running water through it instead of coolant. Also some cooling system cleaner. Try and clean out the block with the sawdust in there. She runs really good. Not really seeing much smoke. It's got a little lifter tick. But I mean, it's been off the road for so long. It has not run. After I drive it a little bit, once I get the brakes going and drive it a little bit, oil will be changed again. And also another fresh filter. Still pretty nasty in there. Battery is installed. Superstar with the bow handle for O'Reilly's. And I'm pleased. I did. Lights work. Horn works. Wipers work. Lights all work. Turn signals. Radio does not work at all. The clock was working, but it has stopped again. But anyway, it's not bad. She's got some power. Okay, I'm to the point where it's time to start looking at front suspension, front brakes, rear brakes, master cylinder, etc. Got the right front wheel off. This is the driver's side. Somewhere underneath all this is a ball joint. Brake lines. Okay, brake hose. Lots of dirt daubers, red clay. It's pretty bad. This brake, this actually spins. It's got a rough spot. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see what we've got going on here. Right now I'm going to try and do an archaeological dig here and get rid of a lot of this dirt and built up old grease and everything else to see what I've got. I am fully suspecting that I'm going to have to put brake shoes, wheel cylinder, wheel bearings, brake hardware kit. I'm hoping with only 47,000 miles on this original vehicle that the drums are still within spec and just need to be cleaned up a little bit. But this is progress, as you can see in the background and here in the background. I am draining the cooling system again that had the cleaner in it. I'm going to fill it with fresh water, run it again, let it sit overnight, drain it again. I'm going to keep doing that until it's coming out clean. And then I'll fill it with coolant. And of course, while I'm over here, it's going to be time to replace the shocks. The shocks are completely gone on this thing. But I'm going to look everything over, tie rod ends, the whole 10 yards. Yeah, we'll continue. Okay, when I first opened up your master cylinder reservoir cover, there was nothing in here. It was bone dry. Zero. Nothing. It's like, all right, let's go ahead and let's see if I put some fluid in there, some brake fluid in there, maybe it'll head down towards the lines and we'll see what happens. Well, now I'm to the point where, it didn't lose any fluid, so got down here to start taking the brakes apart. And I unscrewed the bleeder hose, the bleeder valve, and nothing came out. I said, all right, let's go. Maybe this rubber brake hose, which is completely hard as a rock, is blocked. So it's time for a brake hose. I said, but let's see. And with lots of penetrating oil, I unscrewed the hose from the hard brake line and nothing came out here. I said, well, that's interesting. So no brake fluid came out. Could the master cylinder be completely rusted up and nothing can get through there? Maybe. So then I came back up here and undid the one brake line which goes to the master cylinder, and as you can see, it is now unscrewed. Brake fluid is still sitting in the master cylinder reservoir. So she is completely rusted inside and sealed shut. So I'm going to get this brake fluid out of here, take off this master cylinder. We're going to start first by putting a master cylinder on this and see if we can get any fluid going through the lines. Because when I look down here at the brakes, which by the way, the brakes are very, very thin. They are down to almost nothing. I imagine these are the original brake shoes from 1966. with 47,000 miles. The wheel bearings actually looked okay. And then I peeled back the cover on the wheel cylinder, and let's get my big fat fingers out of there. I don't see anything leaking out of there on either side. This is the driver's side. So, who knows? Wheel cylinders might be good. I doubt it. But let's start first things first and go ahead and get rid of the master cylinder and put a new master cylinder in this thing. And this is old brakes, okay? We're talking about there is one brake line from the master cylinder that goes down here. Move this rag. She comes down here through this curled line to a proportioning valve where one goes off to the driver's side front brake, one goes off to the passenger side front brake, and one line right back here goes to the rear brakes. So no, I mean this is basic 1966. This is basic 1966. One brake line supplying everything. This is not a dual master cylinder. So we're going to change out the master cylinder first and see if I get any brake fluid, and also pick up some brake fluid, some rubber brake hoses, and see what happens then. As you can see, master cylinder is now off. Got a lot of dirt in here. That's the rod. Interesting. I'm hoping the booster is okay. I'm thinking it is. But let's go over and take a look at this master cylinder. Here we are looking inside the master cylinder, and you can see, I mean, that is from the brake fluid I put in it months and months ago. It must be completely stopped up. It's pretty bad. It's a shame because it is a really cool looking master cylinder. I imagine the replacement master cylinders don't look like this, with the screw-on cap or anything. But I'll look around and see what I can find. I do not think I can revive this thing. Here we are looking inside the master cylinder, and you can see, I mean, that is from the brake fluid I put in it months and months ago. It must be completely stopped up. Hey Mark, update time. Digging into the suspension and brakes right now on the front. These are the brake shoes and springs and hardware. for the driver's side front brake. I have never in my life taken something apart where it is all still together, rusted in one big gigantic piece. All these springs, everything in here, the adjuster. This is all from 1966. These are the original brake shoes. There is nothing left of them. They are down to the minimum. This is your brake backing plate right here. That was a trip getting off. This big hole is where the wheel cylinder sits. Everything just seized and rusted for sitting so long. It's your brake drum. Actually, the brake drum measures correctly, so I don't think we're going to need to replace the drums. I'm just going to clean them up. This is your wheel cylinder and rubber brake hose in one assembly. Unbelievable, it's completely seized. Bolts and wheel bearings and castle nut. Wheel bearings, I think, other than being dirty, look pretty good. I'm going to clean them up and repack them. When I get over to the suspension, it is a mess. Okay, I am so pleased that I got the brake line off of that fitting without breaking anything, since it hadn't been off since 1966. Your steering knuckle right here. It's very, very dirty. I've already been cleaning. I tried putting some grease in the ball joints just to see what it's like, and it all comes right out because the boots are completely split and have holes in them. There is a lot of play in the ball joints, upper and lower. They will have to be replaced. This is your strut rod, which mounts right up there. There are bushings there. They are completely dry rotted and gone. So I've already ordered this strut rod bushing kit for both sides. This is your sway bar link, and I've already replaced that. It's your original shock absorber, which is shot. There is a tie rod. This is so rusted and so bad that I've ordered inner and outer tie rod ends and the adjuster sleeve, because the screw that you adjust it with is gone. It completely rusted into nothingness. I'm gonna have to order upper and lower ball joints for both sides. I've ordered brake hoses, brake shoes, wheel cylinder, hardware parts. It's, you know, it all has to be replaced. It's scary. You don't want to drive with this. The master cylinder sat there, and yes, I actually got that fitting off without breaking anything. The master cylinder is now a paperweight. When I first opened up the master cylinder, of course there was no brake fluid in it, and it was solid seized. There's nothing moving anything in there. When I cracked the brake lines, there was no brake fluid whatsoever in any of the brake lines, and all of the wheel cylinders froze solid. That's, I guess, what happens when it sits this long. But there's a lot to do suspension wise. It is difficult to find parts. No one in town carries anything other than the brake shoes. Everything has to be ordered, which I have already done, and I'll get with you on what those are going to end up running. Spindle looks okay. The little bump stop that sits right there, that looks fine. Crawl up under it. I am hoping that the drag link, which attaches this is the tie rod, and which attaches to the drag link, which goes all the way to the other side. When I get all this off, I am hoping that the drag link is good, because they are almost unobtainable, and if you can find them, just that drag link alone is like $150, which is nuts. Because tie rod ends and stuff, I mean, these are all $20 parts, but as we know, $20 parts everywhere just add up and add up and add up. I am guesstimating probably somewhere in the $700 range for all the brake and brake hardware, all the ball joints, all the wheel cylinders, and tie rod ends, and the strut rod bushing kit. It's pretty basic, straightforward, but boy, it is hard getting these nuts and bolts off, and I don't want to break anything. The upper and lower control arms, I think originally I'd said, oh, you know, it's best to replace the upper and lower control arms with new ones, but the new ones are not made in America. They're all Chinese. This is American steel. I want to keep as much American steel as possible, and I'm just going to go ahead and change the ball joints out. The bushings up on the control arms don't look that bad. But I want to let you know what's going on. I know it's a long video, and still got a lot of work ahead of me, and I'll keep you informed. Little update on the Caprice. I've got things cleaned up. Covered some rusty things with some Rust-Oleum Rust Defender. I had the spindle off, and I replaced upper ball joint and lower ball joint with new. Sway bar links are in. I've got the strut rod out, which goes from right here through the hole up there. Everything else looking pretty good up under here. I have the shock absorber out. The shock was completely blown. So now I'm just putting things back together, and put the strut rod in. It's got to go right up into there. See that hole? Then a new shock absorber, and the brake backing plate, and then all the brakes will have to be redone, and the tie rod ends, the whole thing. It's looking better. It's looking better. It's so old, and it was so dry rotted, but this should be good and safe, and you can see everything that's new there, or I cleaned and touched up with some Rust Defender just to give it a chance. But it's coming along. It's just it is really tough up under here, because these bolts and everything have been on here since 1966. So I want to show one other thing which I thought was really cool. The original shock absorber from 1966 is a Big D shock, Delco, AC Delco. As you can see, there is no shock left. I compressed it and it won't even pop back out. But yeah, I like that Big D shock, Delco. And that's the brake backing plate there. There's your old upper ball joint. There's the horrible tie rod and tie rod ends. And there is the brake drum. There are the old brake shoes with all the hardware. Old wheel cylinder. It's just has to be reassembled. Then we'll go to the other side, and as they say, rinse and repeat. And then in the back, it's of course going to be brakes and the rear shocks. Your shocks are non-existent here. Yeah, she's bouncing, but coming along.